Welcome back to day 4 of my 12 Days of Christmas Cookie series. Today's cookies take inspiration from the Nutcracker Ballet, and I hope they can dance their way into your cookie boxes this year. These are my Sugar Plum Fairy thumbprint cookies. These cookies are also my manifestation of the line, visions of sugar plums dance in their heads. I start with a simple thumbprint cookie dough that I add cardamom, ginger, and clove to. I do cheat a tiny bit and I use a rolling pin instead of my thumb to make the divots. What gives these cookies their beautiful color is berry dust. I make this by blending freeze-dried berries with sugar to make a powder. I like to roll the cookies in the berry dust while they're still just slightly warm so that the sugar powder melts into the cookies and deepens the color a little bit. The real star of the show here though is my spiced plum jam that goes on top, but you can use any jam that you like if you can't get your hands on plums. To finish, I add a little turbinado sugar to the top for some sparkle. I hope you'll give these a try this Christmas.
I baked over 200 Christmas cookies. It's time to package up Christmas cookie boxes for friends and family.
Welcome back to day 5 of my 25 Days of Christmas series, where I'll be sharing a new festive recipe every day leading up to Christmas Eve. Today we've got pecan snowball cookies. They're buttery, nutty little bites that are bound to add a few inches to your waistline. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. So double that batch to keep a little extra for yourself on the side. Welcome back to day 9 of my 25 Days of Christmas, where every day leading up to Christmas Eve, I'll be sharing a festive, delicious recipe. We're making my famous Buckeye bars because let's be honest, while I might look like I have it all together, I'm out here Googling last-minute holiday hacks like it's my part-time job. These bars though, they're my ultimate time-saving hack. You have to give them a try. Want to know my hack for sandwich cookies where the filling doesn't ooze out? First, assemble them, wrap them up or pop them in an airtight container and chill in the fridge. Then comes a test. Squeeze, cut, or take a bite. Absolutely no mess, just perfectly balanced bites every time. Welcome to day 4 of my 25 Days of Christmas recipe. If you love peppermint bark, you're going to adore these peppermint bark cookies. Think rich, fudgy chocolate cookies as the base, coated in a creamy peppermint white chocolate, and topped with crushed candy canes for that classic holiday crunch. All of the flavors you love, now in a cookie that is perfect for sharing or keeping all to yourself this holiday season. Know the easiest way to add a little flair to your holiday cookie boxes? My beginner-friendly layered Christmas fudge is made with simple ingredients like sweetened condensed milk, semi-sweet chocolate, and white chocolate for a festive look. Top it with Christmas sprinkles and you'll have everyone asking for the recipe. Welcome to day 1 of my 25 Days of Christmas recipes. We're starting with my favorite Christmas sugar cookie bars that go viral literally every time. They're soft, buttery, and frosted to absolute perfection with this vanilla buttercream. Skip the rolling and cutting, just bake, frost, slice, and enjoy. This is the easiest way to bring some holiday cheer to your dessert table.
This truly is the best sugar cookie recipe and the only one that you will need to make perfectly delicious sugar cookies. No need to chill the dough, no spreading in the oven, and they taste great. Cream the butter and the sugar in a mixer. Add the eggs and the vanilla and continue mixing. I know it seems like a lot of vanilla, but you need it for the moisture and the flavor. Now add the baking powder. Mix until just combined. And then the flour, 2 cups at a time so it doesn't get too messy. The dough should completely come together and look like this when it's done. Now the fun begins. Roll out the dough with a little flour on the board. Cut out the cookies and bake. Soft and yummy, perfectly shaped sugar cookies ready for decorating. Google Two Sisters sugar cookie recipe for the full recipe.
When I thought about what I wanted to share for my 12 days of holiday recipes, I only wanted to make cookies. And when cookies are on my mind, I cannot be stopped. So, welcome to day 1 of my 12 days of holiday cookies. And we're starting out strong with this Christmas sprinkles cookie. We start by making a simple sugar cookie dough that is addicting. I literally had to tell myself to stop eating the dough. Then we're adding lots of Christmas sprinkles, and you can use whatever kind of sprinkles you want. Just make sure they're festive and bring joy. And these cookies kind of taste like the Christmas cookie dough cookies that you buy at the store. Do you know what I'm talking about? Either way, you're gonna love these. And follow along for more holiday cookies.
Each year, my family makes holiday cookie boxes for our loved ones. I made over 1,000 treats this year, so let me show you what was included. To start off, we have whipped shortbread, a classic sugar cookie, ube and toasted coconut cookies inspired by Susan Spungen's marble tahini cookie, strawberry matcha wreaths, soft glazed gingerbread, raspberry thumbprints. These were a crowd pleaser. Christmas cracker toffee, which I had to make 5 times because it just wouldn't turn out. Hot cocoa blossoms, dirty chai earthquake cookies, lacy brown butter and ricotta cookies, 2 types of Linzers, one with blackcurrant jam and one with orange marmalade, slice and bake cranberry orange cookies, snickerdoodle bars, and lastly, millionaire shortbread. There's no doubt that this was a labor of love, but it was so worth it. If you plan on making a cookie box this year, or if you just want to try any of these recipes, links to all of them can be found on my website along with some tips and tricks.
Easiest Christmas cookies ever, 3 ingredients, and make sure you look in the caption for more tips. Grab 2 eggs and 1/3 cup of oil, mix them up in your bowl to break up the eggs, add any flavor cake mix to the bowl and mix it up until it's combined. The dough is going to be soft and squishy, just like this, so you're going to want to refrigerate it for a minimum of an hour. Then you're going to take a scoop and you're going to roll them into about 1.5-inch balls, roll them all in powdered sugar, and place them on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Pop them in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes at 350 degrees, and they are so good.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I've brought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow.
If I could only make one Christmas cookie every year, these would for sure be the ones. They are soft gingerbread cookies and they're beautiful. They're coated with a sparkly sugar. They have those big crackles in them, and you give them a nice pretty dip in this glaze. Put some sprinkles on there. They have a buttery, soft, underbaked cookie center. They are so good.
Every year we make about 50 cookie tins, and these are my 4 tips for making it as smooth as possible. Tip number 1, plan what you're going to make. I recommend sticking with 2 baked cookies and making the rest of your items no-bake things like fudge, butterscotch bites, tiger butter, peppermint bark, or no-bake cookies. Tip number 2, buy your cookie tins from the dollar store in November before they sell out. That's the cheapest place to buy them, and most people just throw them away anyways. Tip number 3, plan when you're going to make each item. You can choose to make bark and fudge ahead of time and keep it sealed in containers in your garage, or you can choose to make your cookies first and freeze them. And then tip number 4, plan your assembly day, and don't forget to turn on some Christmas music or a Christmas movie and have a lot of fun assembling and putting everything together.
I'm not gonna lie, I always thought it was called Christmas crack because it is seriously addicting and it is like crack, but after a little Google search, it is because when you bite into it, it cracks. So that's where my brain goes. But I love this recipe because it is so easy to make. I just melt some butter with some brown sugar until it's boiling, and then I pour over a layer of saltine crackers. I throw that in the oven just for a few minutes, and then as soon as I pull it out, I add a thick layer of chocolate chips, and I throw it right back into the oven. And the chocolate chips get gooey and perfect, and you just smooth it on out. And then I top with festive sprinkles. You can also add pecans or your favorite nut. It is really up to you. I hope you guys love this one. Just when I thought Christmas crack could not get any better, I combined it with my brown butter chocolate chip cookie recipe, and this is definitely the cookie of the season, and you have to add it to your baking list. So like, what are you waiting for? Let's jump, skip, and dive right into this recipe. I start with brown butter, brown sugar, and granulated sugar, and give that a good mix before adding an egg, egg yolks, and vanilla extract. I fold in all my dry ingredients before the real star of the show comes out. Finally chopped Christmas crack and semi-sweet chocolate chips. I fold that on in, and then once it's completely combined, I scoop onto a lined baking sheet, and I bake that bad boy up. I hope you guys try this one and tag me in all of the remakes.
Welcome to day 1 of my 12 Days of Christmas Cookies, my new series where I'm sharing all of my favorite holiday cookie recipes. If you love chocolate, you have to make my chewy hot cocoa cookies. They're packed with rich cocoa flavor, gooey hunks of chocolate, and fluffy marshmallows to make the perfect sweet treat that will remind you of your favorite childhood holiday beverage. I also love that this recipe has a no-chill dough, so you're that much closer to pulling these delicious molten cookies out of your oven. Save this recipe now so you can enjoy it later, and make sure you're following me so you can see the other 11 recipes.
Day 18 of my 25 days of Christmas recipes, so let's make these Grinch-inspired cookies. In a bowl, add in a white box cake mix, then add in 1/3 cup vegetable oil, 2 large eggs, and half a teaspoon of baking powder, and mix everything together. Then we're going to add in some green food coloring and fold it into the dough. Then we're going to let it chill in the freezer for 30 minutes or refrigerate for 1 hour. After that, we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of the dough and form them into balls, and then dip them into powdered sugar. Then we add a red heart sprinkle to each cookie. Bake in the oven at 350 degrees between 10 to 12 minutes. And there you have these delicious Grinch cookies.
These are the cookie equivalent to being wrapped in the softest cashmere sweater, sitting under a blanket with a vanilla candle burning and your Christmas tree lights flickering. They are brown butter cinnamon crinkle cookies, and they are the perfect cozy cookie. The recipe starts with browning some butter on the stovetop to create that deep, nutty flavor depth. You don't need your mixer for this cookie recipe, which makes the whole process very easy. I'm going to link to the full recipe in my profile so you can print it out or screenshot it too. You are going to add the usual cookie ingredients along with a generous amount of cinnamon and vanilla extract that really deepens and enhances the flavor of the brown butter. You're going to need to let your cookie dough chill a little bit so it's easy to roll into balls, but then you coat the cookie dough in powdered sugar so as they bake, they get that pretty crackled texture on top while giving the cookie a melt in your mouth texture. This cookie is going to easily become a family favorite, perfect for fall time and Christmas. Enjoy.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought...
Here's everything I do to make the best Christmas sugar cookies. Okay, starting off with the cookie recipe, I actually made a double batch because I wanted to make a lot of cookies. But everything I list on the screen is exactly what the measurements are for the normal batch of cookies. So you start off with 1 cup of softened butter. This would be so much easier if you had a hand mixer. I didn't, so I had to have Graham help me. You then mix in 1 cup of sugar with the butter and add 3 tablespoons of orange juice, which I know is super weird, but it just gives it the best flavor. You then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then I think I forgot to press play, but you do 1 egg. And then now time for the dry ingredients. Again, I did a double batch. I know this looks like a lot of flour, but you do 2.5 cups of flour for the normal batch, and then 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I then slowly pour the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients and mix that all together until it's well combined. Then a key to this recipe is leaving the dough in the fridge overnight. I actually left it in the fridge for 2 days. When it was time to bake the cookies, I took the dough out of the fridge. I then let it sit out for a little bit so it wasn't too cold, and I put some flour on the counter so that the dough didn't stick. Once I cut out the cookies, I put parchment paper on a baking sheet and then set the oven to 375. You're supposed to bake for 6 to 10 minutes. I found that 8 was the perfect number, so I put ours in for 8 minutes. They came out perfectly golden and fluffy. I then let the cookies sit overnight. I didn't feel like decorating in the same night because it is a lot of work. But if you do it in the same night, you want your cookies to be completely cooled off before you start decorating. Okay, moving on to the icing. This is my favorite part. It's super simple, and I'm sorry I don't have measurements, but you just do powdered sugar and milk. You really don't need too much milk because you want your frosting to be pretty thick. I then added all the colors in. I didn't have the almond extract yet, which is the key ingredient to the frosting. So I made all the colors, and then I went to the store and grabbed the almond extract. Again, I'm sorry I don't have any measurements, but I just put a little bit in each bowl and it gives it the perfect flavor. I seriously think I like these cookies so much because of the almond extract. To decorate, I start off by just icing all of them and giving it a full layer of icing. And then I just use a knife or a spoon to put that layer of frosting on. I then put all of the remaining frosting in 2 separate bags, and then you cut a really small little cut in the bag so that not too much frosting comes out. And then the best part is obviously decorating the cookies. I always have so much fun with this. I feel like it's the most relaxing thing to do, and it's my favorite thing to do around Christmas time. I was a little bit annoyed this year though because I didn't think that I had the frosting thick enough, so definitely make sure the frosting is thick when you do it. Let me know if you guys end up trying out this recipe, and happy holidays.
These are my all-time favorite Christmas cookies. They're no bake, only 5 ingredients, and everyone always loves them. Melt 2 packages of white almond bark in the microwave for a couple minutes and stir it until smooth. Add in 1 cup of crunchy peanut butter, 2 cups of peanuts, 2 cups of Rice Krispies, and 4 cups of mini marshmallows. Give it all a good stir until it's well combined. Drop spoonfuls of the mixture onto parchment paper and don't worry about them looking perfect. This is a great recipe to make with kids because you don't have to worry about them being perfect. Sprinkles are optional, but they make the cookies more festive and fun, so I always add them. And then it only takes about 30 minutes for your cookies to be completely set. I really hope you try them this Christmas season, and I promise Santa is going to love them.
If you're looking for a Christmas cookie recipe that includes a little bit of everything, look no further than these brown butter kitchen sink Christmas cookies. My favorite kind of cookie is a cookie with a brown butter base. So you'll start by browning your butter, then let it cool completely before mixing in your brown sugar, granulated sugar, honey, egg, and Simply Organic Madagascar vanilla bean paste, which paired with that brown butter really adds a ton of depth to the flavor of these cookies. Add your flour, Simply Organic cinnamon, salt, and baking soda, and mix that just until combined. For the mix-ins, I like to add dark chocolate chips, white chocolate chips, seasonal M&Ms, toffee pieces, pretzels, and sprinkles for a variety of flavors and textures that make for a cookie that is guaranteed to be a hit this holiday season.
Y'all to see this. Turn up the lights in here, baby. You know what I need. Want you to see everything. Want you to see all of the lights. Our cheeks are nice and rosy and comfy and cozy. All we.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots is the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that'll talk and will go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot.
Christmas, it's the best time of the year. Now I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer.